Hey folks, welcome back to DCS. So today we're flying out the Phantom on Contention's Cold War server, and this is my first look at the Moza AB9 Force feedback joystick base in a multiplayer environment. So if you saw the last video then you'll have some idea of what this thing is about, but it honestly feels like legal cheating. I would have said that I'm pretty good at energy management already anyway, but that's because I used to have to continually check my speedo and reassess how hard I was pulling, and I had to base everything off of visual and audio cues. The beauty of a force feedback stick is that you can now base it off like stick pressure and an actual haptic feedback, like you can actually feel the speed based on how stiff the stick is. As we're rolling down the runway, I can actually feel the bumps in the runway, I can feel when the afterburner engages. I could actually feel that I hadn't set my takeoff trim correctly. And you could theoretically, when you're like watching everyone else starting their jets up, you could tell visually whether or not someone was using a force feedback stick or not, because the elevators will sit differently. When there's no airflow, the stick just flops. So the elevators will be like fully up or fully down, whereas with a spring-loaded joystick, what people normally have, it'll just default to like a middle position. So it's actually crazy how much this adds. It makes every single aircraft feel brand new. I feel like I've just unlocked a bunch of new modules.
Alright, got a new bogey. Right 5, 3 miles, 4,500. Nails, 11 o'clock.
Anyway, so we ditched all our air to ground stuff. There's a friendly up ahead being accosted by a MiG-21. He unfortunately ends up losing his wing.
Copy.
And we're in hot on this 21. I can feel that I'm really fast here, so I'm a bit apprehensive about pulling hard enough for this shot. I was very apprehensive about not decking it into the floor, but I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go anyway. You kind of have to push the boat out a little bit with these things just to get a feel for them. Like if you never dare push the boundaries, then you're never really sure if you're working within the maximum workable parameters. So obviously we merge. I actually lose sight of him here, but I'm pulling into the vertical, which is the Phantom's strength against most things, and because of how much feedback I get from the stick, I know exactly when to start coming back down, because even without having to look forwards, I can keep my eyes out of the cockpit, keep scanning the whole time, and I can feel when I'm getting slow, so I know when to start going down again. And I'm reading the energy state so well just from the feel that we actually get all the full-blown waves. We're getting the canopy shake. We end up starting to get the onset of G-lock and blackout. And later on in the video I actually have to back off the afterburner during a rate to stop myself from blocking out, which is something that I'd normally only ever have to do in something like the Mirage 2000 or the F-16. So we managed to get a Sparrow lock with this guy. We're carrying the E2s, which are actually quite good, and it actually connects. So first kill down. Whilst I've got you here, I just want to make you aware of an upgrade event that Pimax VR are running, whereby you can get a discount price on a Pimax Crystal Light by submitting proof of purchase for an existing VR headset. The max discount is $100, but if you check out the upgrade link in the description, all the details for supported headsets and discount amounts can be found there. Lastly, if you apply the discount code bullet_gift with a capital B and a capital G, you'll get a free gift at no extra charge, and that can include things like a head strap or the DMAS upgraded headphones. So if you want a Pimax Crystal Light and you've got an existing VR headset, check out that link in the video description. So we are tracking a Mirage F1 who just killed the Phantom, unfortunately. Sparrow doesn't even attempt to track that time. We're actually pushing Mac as we merge, and I'm pulling so hard that we're getting the buffer and we're getting all the vapes. We were actually getting the AOA beeps for a short second there. Before I had force feedback, if I ever heard the AOA beeps, I would basically just automatically ease off the stick because I was worried that I'd end up bleeding the speed off too quickly, because the Phantom's airframe is really not streamlined at all. It's basically a brick. You can very, very quickly end up very, very slow if you overdo it, and I was always very cautious of that happening. But because now I can feel the speed, I knew that even despite the AOA beeps, I could keep pulling, and that let me close in well enough, pull hard enough and maintain energy to get guns on at a crazy aspect like that. Not really sure what he thought was going on. He just kind of levels out and gives me a free 9B shot. We also almost get team killed by a Sabre there, and I end up pulling so hard in panic that I compressor storm, but I do realise it's the friendly. But yeah, the AB9, honestly, it just feels like legal cheating. There is a little bit of bad blood around the sim community with the AB9 though, because Moza essentially stole is probably a bit strong. My understanding is that VP Force, Rhino, who make a competing non-mass produced force feedback stick, had their own code for force feedback, and Moza basically took their open source code and then monetized it, which is a little bit cheap and shitty and a bit, you know, under the table. It's just a bit of a social faux pas, and a lot of people have basically just out and out refused to support Moza because they did that. But I thought I was in quite a good position to look into whether it's worth the money or not. It's the most affordable force feedback stick on the market. It's readily available. Mine came literally the next day, and it's compatible with TM products, or at least the stick. Definitely do not buy the Ava base swan neck extension because it just doesn't fit. I just found that out the hard way. If you check out the short video that I uploaded the other day, then you'll see what I mean. But I'm very happy with it. I know that it is a little bit shady what Moza did, but you pay for convenience these days, and I really don't have a bad thing to say about what I've received, apart from the fact that Thrustmaster fucked me over with the stick extension. Anyway, we're in a rate fight at the moment with a Mirage F1. You can see that I'm holding right on the line, such that the slats keep coming in and coming out because I'm holding it literally right on the edge where they deploy, right on the AOA limit. This Mirage F1 just reverses its turn at the absolute worst time imaginable and gives me the freest kill ever. Not that I'm complaining. But that means we can loop back around to the next guy that's following us. There are a handful of people in the area right now, and we're getting into one of those situations where fuel is becoming a significant issue, but I'm not in a position where I can really disengage because I'll just end up getting run down. So I'm just going to keep pushing, and hopefully we can kill everyone fast enough that I don't run out of fuel before I'm able to run away. Using the bore sight mode to lock this MiG-21 up ahead. Even when they're against the ground, if you get a bore sight lock, it tends to hold quite well. I just wasn't able to actually get the shot because the aspect was kind of all wrong, and the Sparrows, ironically, have really bad range rear aspect, so I just use a aim 9. So that's kill number 4. There are 2 or 3 guys within 10 miles right now. Fuel is not looking great, so I'm considering disengaging. We're heading north right now, but there are several people within 3 miles to my 6, and it looks like a friendly needs some help as well. We're also getting a missile launched at us, so I drop the throttle and I pump out some flares. I can actually feel the flares coming out on through the stick, which is very cool. It's good for knowing if you've run out or not when you're not actually looking behind you. You can also feel when the flaps come down. So in planes like the MiG-19 or the MiG-21, which when you deploy the flaps, if you go above a certain speed, they like manually come back up. You actually know if you're fast enough that they've sort of sucked back up or not, which is very useful because there's no other way of knowing from the cockpit instruments. This rate, look at it's just absolutely insane. I actually have to back off out of burner here so that we don't block out, but I'm still rating around this guy so quickly, so efficiently. We end up basically turning the fight around in like 1 360 rotation, which I don't think I've ever managed to do before. And that's without ending up so slow that I'm useless afterwards. Like this is actually a maintainable rate that we completely wrecked him in one turn off. Look at the vapes coming off even though the burners aren't on. And we've effectively got this guy energy trapped right now. We actually nearly hit the other friendly phantom with the gun there. He just appeared out of nowhere. So we yo-yo this guy. He comes up as I'm coming down, and at this point, you know, he's not a threat to me. I'm carrying so much speed. He's getting a bit of the salmon fish wobble, and there's that other phantom that he followed around the rate. So I think I'm just going to disengage. We're on £1,000 of fuel. I'm hoping that enough people are distracted enough that yeah, maybe not. Unfortunate end to an otherwise good sortie, but if you've enjoyed that, folks, then be sure to check out the links in the description for the Pimax upgrade event. you can check out Pimax's other product links as well. You can also check out the links for Air models and VR Rock for your VR prescription lenses. If you want to help support the channel financially, as well as checking out those links and buying those products, you can also become a channel member. We're up to 38 members right now, which is absolutely wild. It would be awesome to get to 40. Not years old though, definitely don't want to be 40 years old. Sorry if you already are. Thanks a lot for watching, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.